I'm live right now. Am I live? Holy cow. YouTube has changed some settings on me and it messed me up getting live, but we're here now. We're live. I'm all muckied up, man. Cheers, y'all. It's been a chaotic week, so no other fitting way to start this. But tonight we're going to give you guys some Lake Fork tournament tips, man. And I'm going to give you guys one thing that you can go buy, you can go get to use for this tournament. It's going to literally increase your odds of cashing a check. I'm just taking a wild guess, but by 50%. It's going to increase your odds more than any other one single thing will at cashing a check at the Berkeley tournament this weekend. We did a top baits video earlier this week. Man, I wanted to get you guys some on the water stuff. To be honest with you, I'm a freaking idiot. So I had guide trips every day, and I honestly just literally forgot the camera. I was going to film a couple days and then put that video out like yesterday, and I literally forgot to bring the GoPro with me on my guide trips because I don't normally bring a GoPro on guide trips, but we had guide trips booked every day. A lot of people want to pre-fish for the tournament, and man, I just forgot the camera. So we didn't get any on the water footage, and I do apologize to you for that. But, you know, we'll talk about what's happened this week because the beginning of the week it got kind of slow and kind of tough, and partly because we were pre-fishing and didn't want to. I'll explain all that. We'll explain everything about how the bite's gotten. What you need to know right off the bat is the bite the last couple of days is getting better. Like it's consistently getting better the last couple of days, and we're getting bites early and often. We got bit right away today. And really, in pre-fishing, you're not really trying to catch a lot of fish, especially today, the day before the tournament. We're really just looking at areas. Okay, there's some fish in here. Here's some bait in here. Here's a bait that's going to catch them. Let's move to the next area, that type deal. So we went through that whole process a lot this week. So, but the bite was pretty good today, and it was pretty good yesterday. So been getting better every day this week, it seems. I really think with the weather warming after we had the hard front last weekend, it really seems like you guys are set up for one hell of a time this weekend. You guys should be catching plenty of fish. It should be a really good time for all you guys. If you've been struggling this week, man, hopefully you're tuning into this. Obviously you're tuned into this, but if you have been struggling and you're tuned into this, man, just pay attention to what we're going to try and help you every way we can. Pay attention to the details of it, and hopefully we can get you on some fish for this weekend. That is the longest intro before cheers I think we've ever done on a Your Lake Fork Guy live stream. So cheers, y'all. Let's get it. All righty, man. So before we go any further, we just got a few of y'all in here right now. I'm sure there'll be more as we go along, but I do always like to say hello to those that join us early. We've only got a couple comments, so y'all drop some comments in here. Let me know who we're talking to, as we always do. We got Chaotic Fishing and John Denny here. John Denny says, let's go Rangers. Man, listen, you can go on and you can leave the chat. John Denny, I'm not giving you any fishing tips at all because I'm an Astros fan, so I'm about to sneeze right now. Them old fall allergies get you, boy, a little bit. Huge Astros fan. Haven't been my whole life. Grew up down around the Conroe area, pretty close to Houston, and yeah, don't want to see what's going on. And I can't stand Adolis Garcia. I don't know why. I just don't like him at all. And for him to hit the 3-run homer, it's irritating me right now. So hopefully my fortunes will change for the Astros while I'm on this live stream, and I'll end this thing and go get some good news here in a little while. You guys don't be spoiling it for me while we're in here. Tennessee Bassmaster said he's prepping for the tournament right now. Let's help you, brother. Let's get into that. I dang sure don't want to talk baseball with what's been going on with the Astros and Rangers today. So, all right. The cold front hit last weekend, and I didn't fish the weekend. I hardly ever fish on the weekends. It's pretty rare. I'm always tired of, you guys know me, chasing kids around a ball field. Right now it's football. It'll be basketball court here pretty soon. Then it'll be baseball after that. I got them two boys. In fact, right now I can actually, if I be quiet, I can hear the sound of a baseball being thrown up against a shed wall out there. So it's pretty nonstop with the sports stuff with the kids right now around here. But so my weekends I don't fish a whole lot. So didn't fish last weekend. And man, Thursday and Friday last week, you know, like the bite got better and better. Kind of like this week, got better and better as the week went on. You know, at the beginning of the week last week, Lake Fork really did some turning over. Like the previous cold front really made it flip hard and kind of got that pushed out of the way just in time for you guys at Berkeley. It worked out really well. And then by the end of the week, it started fishing good. And we started kind of just going around. You just go around and catch some fish, just fishing up shallow if you get in the right areas. Just kind of fish whatever you wanted to almost and catch them. a lot of winding bait bites. You know, you can catch them on a worm if you wanted to slow down, but why the hell you want to slow down when you can fish fast and catch them, that type of deal. And then the cold front last weekend hit, and like Tuesday morning, it was like 40 degrees, 39, 40 degrees. And man, that really, really put them down a little bit. The activity level, especially in the morning time, was dramatically affected. I mean, it was stone cold tough first thing in the morning, Tuesday and Wednesday. I mean, real tough. And then you get some bites as the day went on. Now, let me say this. It was stone cold tough, but we were fishing. So I had pre-fishing guys all week on my guide trip starting Tuesday. We were fishing the way that I was anticipating them needing to fish come Saturday. So we struggled on Tuesday and Wednesday, but the whole time we were doing it, we're throwing swim baits, we're throwing square bills. You know, we're going along fishing pretty fast the way we were planning on them needing to fish come tomorrow. And I told those guys, I was like, you know, if we want to catch these fish today, what we would need to do is turn around, get away from the bank a little bit, go out there and slow way down. Grab a drop shot, you know, grab a light Texas rig with a small worm or something, and really slow down would be the key to catch them during that cold front situation. But that's not what you guys are going to face on Saturday. And, you know, I talked about it with my customers, and they agreed. And it was like, what we need to do is we need to look at areas, find where there's still some bait presence and activity. If we get a couple bites, great. That'll give us confidence in the fish being here. I'm giving you guys my knowledge, saying they were here last week when the weather was warm at the end of the week. And let's show you guys how to fish these areas in the stretches that have really been key. So that's what we did Tuesday and Wednesday. And we didn't catch a lot of fish Tuesday and Wednesday. As it continued to warm up, and I kind of told those guys Tuesday and Wednesday this, but when we got to Thursday, man, it kind of started the same. The morning started slow a little bit, you know. But man, about mid to late morning at 10, 11 o'clock range, you know, the sun starts getting up. Man, we got back in one of those stretches, had a bunch of grass on it, and I think I caught 7 in a row at one time. then I kind of it happened so fast. I started catching them so fast. You know, we gone along and caught a fish here, fish there, and other places, but I caught like 7 in a row, and it happened so fast, and all of a sudden I went, wait a minute. We probably need to stop catching these. Probably should quit catching all your tournament fish, bud. Sorry about that. I got a little excited. And so we did. We stopped and left that area, and then went to another area and got some bites, and then, you know, finished out the trip like that. And then today, similar. This morning, right off the bat, first stop we made. Now we've got the morning bite going too as of today. So this morning, we didn't fish 5 minutes with me and 2 customers in the boat, and all 3 of us had a fish in the boat in 5 minutes. And I looked at them and said, guys, we probably ought not catch any more in here. And we just went around the pocket and literally didn't make a cast, looked at it, went to another area, got bites in every area we went to except for one today, I think. So a lot of fish getting active today. The bite keeps going throughout mid-morning, late morning, early afternoon. It's really good. If you get in the right areas, you can catch them really well. You can catch them really fast. You can go through there and catch a bunch, then go back through there, slow down, and catch a few more. The key baits, man, little swim baits have been really good. And you know, I've been telling people this, and there's big shad in there. Where there's little shad, there's big shad too. You don't always see the big shad as much as you see the little shad. Every once in a while, you'll see those big shad. And it does help having some local knowledge of where the big shad tend to migrate to in the fall. And you know, luckily for me, I've got some of that being out here as long as I have. But when you start catching them on the little bitty swim baits, we've been throwing a lot of the 3.5 to 4 inch type swim baits. Once I've gotten 3 or 4 or 5 bites on that, man, a lot of times I can pick up that bigger swim bait in those same areas and get a big bite. Now, you're not going to get near as many bites, but pick up like a 7 inch. I've been throwing the Smash Tech Hollow Belly, but you could throw like a 6 to 7 inch swim bait, and Berkley makes several models of them for you Berkley guys, and catch those bigger fish in there. Now, a lot of that's going to be slot fish. You got to remember, you're trying to hit the home run when you do that. You're trying to catch an over, and the odds of that aren't great. The odds aren't great. So you got to go understand going into that you're going to probably not catch as many fish. Your odds of cashing a check go down. But if you do cash a check, it could be the really big check. So, I mean, we all know what that is in these hourly big bass tournaments. So if they're biting a little swim bait, you can for sure get bit on the big swim bait if you go back through that area and be patient and stick with that big swim bait in your hands. It takes time to get bit on the big swim baits. Let's pause for a little refreshment break. Cheers, y'all. Everybody said it was good, boy. Let's go. So, all right, so that's what's going on pattern-wise. Other baits that you can use, man, a wacky worm, a wacky Senko, a wacky trick, or just a wacky worm. When you're ready to slow down, after you've been through there with swim bait and kind of caught them up, go back through there with a wacky. You usually catch you a few more. Wacky worm's great right now. As always in this tournament, every year when we get to October, you put on your calendar right now for the rest of your life. When it's October on Lake Fork, they will bite a 7 to 8 inch Texas rig, regular old ribbon-tailed worm. A regular old 7 or 8 inch Berkley power worm. If there's fish in an area, you can get bit on that sucker every single year in October. You can go to Lake Fork and catch it. Blue Flex, the color I've been using. It's just, I don't know that it's the right color, but I know it ain't the wrong color, and they will bite it. Some of them will bite it. Maybe not all of them, but some of them will bite it. Blue Flex, dependable. You can throw red shad's a real good color this time of year. Always your greens, with sparkle can work. Watermelon red, watermelon candy, whatever you want to pick, whatever your preference is. I'm not big on being specific on colors on plastics like that, but Blue Flex, man, they like it's just not gonna fail you 9 times out of 10. So that's working. Just a little 1/4 ounce or 3/8 ounce Texas rig with a little 7 or 8 inch Berkley power worm can get you bit for sure. And I think the Senko that Berkley makes is called the General. So for your wacky rig, man, just put the 5-inch General on there and go to work on that. I've caught some on black and blue. I've caught some on watermelon gold flake. Green pumpkin will work. Same kind of deal on color. We're not real particular on colors. Yeah, so that's all good. Now, those are the patterns that I've been pursuing. Now, there's definitely something to be said for if you're a live scope guy. I find it hard to utilize live scope stuff with customers. So I don't really do it a whole lot. And right now there's a lot of fish shallow. And so I'm doing my shallow thing. I'm sorry, I just got distracted by a comment right there. Somebody said they didn't have something for their own event at Fork. Knockoff Nessie. I guess we're talking about some bait by Glide Bait. Somebody said something that 6-inch coal shad is there. As far as Berkley swim baits that are big, they've got the 6-inch coal shad. I've seen those. They've got big hollow bellies and some other big swim baits. They've also got that Shad E. I'm kind of a big fan of that Shad E that they're making. I think that thing looks great. And I've caught fish on the Gill E's at Fork for a while now. And so the Shad E, I have a lot of confidence in. I think it's going to be a really good bait. Really good bait. I haven't gotten any yet. I need to get me some and throw it. But I saw it in the store the other day and it looks phenomenal. I think it's really going to catch them good on Lake Fork. Speaking of, that bait would be a great bait for the live scope guy. So if you are a live scope guy, there are plenty of fish that have not migrated into the creek that are pulled up around timber on the main lake. Rewind to November 2020 when Patrick Walters introduced live scope to the tournament fishing world. Man, that deal's happening, and it happens every fall, and it's something that tournament kind of educated us on and showed it to all of us. And if you're good with a live scope, so if you're a guy that's watching this and you're pretty handy with a live scope, you probably ain't watching this because you're probably a damn good fisherman. But if you are good with a live scope, I think that going around and doing that is a great way. Obviously, that's the best way to go try to target a giant fish. Like you can see, it's just like sight fishing. When it's sight fishing season and they're on beds, man, I got a lot better chance of catching an over if I'm only fishing for giant fish because I'm looking at them first. Same thing with live scope. I'm spending all of my time only fishing for really big fish. Now, I may catch them and they may not quite be an over, but it's going to be a big daggone fish, and I'm not spending any time fishing for small fish. And if you're not using live scope, the reality is in the fall, there's the small fish and big fish are mixed together up shallow. You're going to catch a bunch of small fish this time of year on Fork, right in the same areas that you might catch a giant. So if you are handy with live sonar, I think that is the way to try to win the tournament. Like, that is the deal. There's just not a lot of guys that are very good with it. That's the reality. I mean, you got to be really good with it to have consistent success with it. And it's so new to most people. And, a lot of weekend anglers don't get to spend the time on the water. They're not really good with it. Me personally, if I was fishing the tournament, I would probably spend my time, I'd probably go up and throw a small swim bait and try to cash a couple of easy checks early the first day, the first few hours of the first day, and I would probably spend the rest of my time looking at my live sonar, looking at my active target, and trying to catch a giant off a tree somewhere. I mean, that's just probably what I would be doing personally. Now, for most people, I think that's going to be a fail. Like, I don't think it's going to work out for most people if you're not really familiar with that technology. If you are, man, go for it, swing for the fences. But the other thing is, it's kind of hard to get out of that shallow water a little bit if you're just a recreational guy looking to have fun, and if you get lucky and win a check, good. Dude, it's hard to get out of that shallow water because you can catch a lot of fish. Like, it's a lot of fun. Hey, newsflash, catching fish is fun, right? So let's do that. Like, that's kind of how it is up shallow right now. So let's talk a little bit about what areas do you need to get in and how can you find the right areas. Man, you guys probably guessed it from looking at the thumbnail on this one, but you know, we've got this deal. We've got this deal called the Fish Life app, Lake Fork Premium Package. And so I'll kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So let's see if we can do this here. So here's the logo right there. Just a white logo with a black skeleton fish. It's Fish Life, spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E. So let's go into the Fish Life app and show you what the homepage is going to look like. You can go download it for, you can create. Hold on a minute, we'll fix this. You can create an account on the Fish Life app and open it and look at it for free. Now, to view the information on the individual packages, you're going to have to subscribe to said package. So when you open it, it's going to look like this. It's going to have a list of lake packages. And that is the Lake Fork package. So we'll click on that. You're going to see Lake Fork with a bunch of red spots all over it. So when you click on one of those red spots, here's one, shallow area. You can't read that, but I'll read it. So it just brings up a box like this. It has words on there that you guys can't see because it's, well, you can kind of see it when I turn it. So I'll read it to you. So this is shallow area 17. The dock and shallow flat in this corner will hold fish this time of year. You can catch them using drop shot, small swim baits, and light Texas rigs. You can go over here to another area. Back of this pocket is holding fish now. I just clicked on a different area. They can be caught using small swim baits, wacky worms, and small crankbaits. Another shallow area. A lot of shallow areas right now because there's a lot of shallow fish. Fish have been holding back of this creek and be caught using chatterbaits, small swim baits, weightless plastics. So you click on those areas and it shows you your location. So like that blue dot at the bottom down here, that's my location. Shows you all the fishing spots, and that way when you're going to that spot on the lake, you can see your location in relation to the spot. You get a description of what the area is, a shallow flat. If we had points on there like we do in the summer, it'd tell you, hey, this is Main Lake Point. Catch fish on the north side on the slope. You know, all that type of stuff, real detailed information, and then the baits that are working there as well. And like that just got updated 2 hours ago, an hour ago by me on the Lake Fork Premium Package. And we have guys that work with us on every lake and do updates month to month. We normally do the updates around the first of the month, but you know what? This month I decided that that's just not good enough for our followers on the Fish Life app. They got a big tournament coming up on Lake Fork. They need an update in the middle of the month before the tournament. And so I wanted to get it out early this week to let you guys pre-fish with it. But I had guide trips every day, and I had football practices and all that stuff. And, man, I just got to it finally today. So, but it did get updated. So if you guys are out there this weekend and you need some help finding something, man, all you got to do is download the Fish Life app. Remember, it's spelled L-Y-F-E. Go subscribe to the Lake Fork Premium Package, and you'll have all that information of the latest updates that are on the exact areas of what's going down on Lake Fork. And you can download that thing and look at it, and you can see exactly where these fish have been setting up shallow, and you can go there and fish those areas, or you can be like, you know what, man, I know a good area that I like that looks is kind of similar to this, sets up like this. Really, the guys that I find that have the most success using that app, they catch fish off the areas that we put on the app, but then they replicate that pattern on water that they know personally, and those are really the guys that end up doing really the best. As far as, success rates with this deal, man, it's the Elite Series guys use the app when they come fish a tournament here. The Bass Pro Tour guys use this app when they come fish a tournament here. We have had, I used to be better about posting stuff on social media. We used to post pictures every single week of people sending us pictures of big fish, people sending us messages about how they had the best fishing day of their life, people sending information about, hey, I won this money in this tournament. I mean, this app has contributed to so many cash checks on Lake Fork over the last 4 or 5 years. It's just unbelievable, man. It's absolutely unbelievable. And it is because it's There's no other app that has that information. Tell you what, tell me the fishing app that has a guy that's on the water every single week on that body of water that's giving you that precise and current information every single month. Tell me the other app that does that. Oh, yeah, there's not. There's not. Chaotic Fishing said, you said 2023 was going to be a post today. You know what? I had that idea in mind, like, in the beginning of the year, that I was going to post something every single day. And, man, brother, all I can tell you is that life comes at you. And when you try to do things like that, sometimes the world says no. And life does come at you. And I've dealt with a bunch of off-the-water stuff over the last few years, and I'm dealing with it now, too. And I'm tired. Like, it's beating me down. I've dealt with a lot of crazy, chaos in my life outside of what you guys get to see and know about me. And just to be real with you, like, I always pride myself on keeping everything 100% honest with you guys, man. Like, it's to some degree gotten the better of me at times this year, and it's worn me down. And I just haven't had some of the energy and focus, that I've had in the past, as far as I can't take it away from my customers that I'm on the water with. I just can't. Like, I have to give those guys everything I got when it comes to spending when I'm on the water with them. And I can't take it away from my kids, and I can't take it away from Miss Laney. And so, unfortunately, this deal is where it gets taken away from. When I'm overextended, this deal is what suffers. And I've been overextended. Mentally, emotionally, I've been overextended for several years now, and I've been sucking it up and dealing with it. And all I can tell you is, I do hate and regret that I haven't posted as much as I have in the past. I don't like that, but brother, I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can, and I always will do the best I can to help you guys. I still try to make content come out fairly consistently, and when I do make content, I try to make it as helpful as possible. How many other guys have got on here this week that are full-time Lake Fork guides and tried to tell you guys exactly how to catch fish, exactly what baits they're using, exactly the type of areas? I pride myself on being there. I take great, great pride in being the guy that will give you guys the most information of anybody out there. And I'm going to tell you where that comes from real quick, just so you guys know a little bit about me and my background. A lot of you have heard this before. If you have, listen, just get your cup, fill it up, drink it down. Just bear with me, and we'll get through this story real quick. So here's who I am when it comes to fishing. I am a guy that worked a job where I was working 60, 70, sometimes more than that hours a week back in the day. Regular old job. Worked in the sales side of a beverage distributor. And was pretty crazy about fishing. Pretty crazy about this bass fishing deal at that time. And have been for there's been stretches of my life where I didn't bass fish a lot. When I was in the Marine Corps, I didn't bass fish a lot. When I was going to college and playing some sports and stuff, I didn't bass fish a lot then. But when I was a kid, I bass fished a lot. Every chance I got. A lot of pond fishing. Fortunate enough to have dad took me lake fishing, a good bit. So I got out on the lakes a lot. And my dad wasn't like a tournament guy or nothing like that, but he liked to fish, and we fished, a good bit, quite a bit, really. And so grew up around it and loved it. And then when I was a teenager, kind of strayed away from it a little bit, just didn't have time, other things, football, baseball, all that stuff takes you time up. Then I'm in the Marine Corps. Fished some when I was in the Marine Corps, but it's a pretty demanding schedule, a lot of deployment rotation, stuff like that. So didn't get to fish a whole lot when I was in the Marine Corps. When I got in the Marine Corps and moved here, crazy about fishing, but had to work, man. Had a mortgage, had kids, had to get things taken care of. And at that time, I just wanted to fish every chance I got. After being in the Marine Corps, fishing was like the thing that really, when I was doing that, I wasn't thinking about anything else. I wasn't thinking about bills. I wasn't thinking about money issues. I wasn't thinking about the stress of being a first-time father at that time. I wasn't thinking about anything that, stressed me out from my time in the Marine Corps. When I was fishing, it was the one place I would go, and my shoulders would be like everything else just went away, and I could focus on this. And I loved it, man. I loved it. and I wanted to do it. And I would spend every extra minute that I had during the week consuming information, recording, back in the TiVo days, TiVo recording every fishing show out there, every Hank Parker, every Bill Dance, every Roland Martin, Timmy Horton. Man, there was some I can't even remember the name of that I would watch every one of them, and guys that were in the Northeast don't even pertain to Texas. But I'm watching that because maybe I can pick something up from them that'll help me be a better fisherman. And I was reading every written fishing report on the internet about Lake Fork that could ever be written during those years. Every one of them, man. And you'd read those reports, and a lot of generic information. If I'm being just 100% honest, and we can just keep things real, like I love to do and really strive to do to the best of my ability, a lot of bullshit, a lot of straight up bullshit reports. And they didn't help that much. Every once in a while you'd catch something. You know where I got the most help from, it seemed like, directly to Lake Fork back in them days, was there was a radio show, and I don't even remember the name of the radio show, but on Saturday and Sunday morning before daylight, you could listen to a radio show that came on KMOO out of Mineola, and it was syndicated from Dallas. The guy was based out of Dallas, and they would have guides from all the area lakes across the state call in and give fishing reports. And literally one morning, Barbara Stevenson, Mark Stevenson's wife, was giving a report on there and said something in the fall about shaky heads. And I do remember that one of the best fishing days of my life was because she said something about throwing straight tail worms on shaky heads, and I found a school of fish offshore, and I had one of the best days of my life. Long time ago, we're talking somewhere between 10 and 15 years ago, fishing Lake Fork in November, throwing a shaky head worm because of that report that morning. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was thinking about getting shallow and doing what I do, and she said that, and I looked around and found something and had one of the best days of my life because of that report. And that type of stuff right there, it was so rare to get real, true, current information. You couldn't find it in reports. Honey Hole Outdoors was great because it would be a local regional lake, but it was always delayed by 3 or 4 weeks. Man, we know how much can change. Listen, I'm well aware how much, and you guys are too, how much fishing can change in 3 or 4 weeks. I might be doing something totally different 3 weeks from now than what I'm doing today to catch fish. Honey Hole was, the air date on Honey Hole Outdoors, which was like probably my favorite TV show back then. It was delayed 3 or 4 weeks, it seemed like back then. So, even though it was good information, and that's one thing I loved about Honey Hole, why it was my favorite. They showed you on the map where they were fishing. And I didn't want to see on the map where they were fishing so I could go fish there. I wanted to see that so I could study that area and understand why they were catching fish there. That was my deal. And it would help me replicate that on, even if they were on another lake, I could replicate that on Fork or wherever I was. That starving and hunting for information, having to sift through so much crap that was just fake, outright lies to sell baits they were sponsored by, or what, you know the drill in fishing, man. There's so much BS about that stuff. Like, people are trying to sell you baits, whatever. Like, all sifting through all that over the years, that is what caused me to do this channel the way that I've done it, and to try and provide the information in the way that I have, and drove me to figure out a way to give you guys fishing spot information. That no other fishing guide in the history of bass fishing guides that I know of has given away their spots or put their spots up for a subscription or anything like that. We did. And the reason why is because I was like every one of y'all that works all week, and every time you drive by a ditch, you're wondering what that would look like with water over it and which spot would you catch a fish on. And you're thinking about it nonstop, and you can't stop thinking about it. It consumes your mind. And every weekend you go out and try to catch every fish you can, and you're trying to consume all the information. I'm here for y'all. That's the guys that this channel is built for. And ladies, if you're out there, that's the folks that we've designed our content for, because I'm one of you. Like, that's who I am at my core. That's who I always was. And now I've been fortunate enough to figure out a way to spend enough time on the water and get to know enough people and ease my way into this situation where I'm fishing for a living and guiding. Well, I'm not fishing as much as I'm guiding, but guiding people for a living and getting to spend all that time on the water. And man, that just provides so much information. Time on the water is the most important thing in this game, and that provides so much information. And by God, I want to give it back as much as I can, as much as I can. And I'm not a tournament fisherman. I don't have a weigh-in to go to. So if you pull up in the same area as me and we both sit there and catch a few fish and have laughs, I don't care that you caught one bigger than me. Like, I don't have to weigh them in. Like, I'm not mad at you. Like, I want to catch the biggest fish. I'm competitive, but at the end of the day, I don't have a weigh-in to go to, man. I want my customers to be happy. I want you guys in the same area visiting the lake to be happy. I want everybody to come to Lake Fork, catch as many fish as they can, and keep coming back, because at the end of the day, that's how we stay in business as fishing guides. Keep people coming to the lake. You just keep people coming to the lake, man, enough people are going to want to buy guide trips. Enough people are going to spend money in the hotels, keep everybody in business, and we're all going to be good. So that's where it comes from. And I got up on a soapbox tangent there a little bit, and I apologize for that. So if y'all got any questions about fishing, I'll be happy to answer them, man. I'll be happy to answer them. But I do. I try and take a lot of pride in being the guy that shares the most information. I take a lot of pride in that. And I've taken a lot of grief in the industry, from other industry guys that have been in the industry a lot longer than me, and I guess think because they've been in the industry longer than me that I should just bow down to what they say. Man, I've been told a bunch of times that I'm killing my own business and that I'm hurting their business and what I'm doing is bad for the lake, and yet here we are 8 years later, and there's more guides now than there was when I started, and the fishing on Lake Fork sure hadn't suffered any. It's like, what am I hurting? Nothing. If anything, I've brought more eyeballs and more attention to our business that is known as Lake Fork. So that's what we're going to keep doing. We're going to keep doing it whether they like it or not, because we think it's the right thing to do. So, all right. Not seeing a whole lot of questions tonight. I guess we covered everything pretty good, man. If you guys do have any questions, I'll be on here just a couple more minutes. Y'all can ask them, and we will sure enough do our best to answer them as honestly as we can. All right, not seeing any questions come in, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and close this out, man. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and appreciate everything. Like Mike Haddock Fishing, I know you've been here a long time watching what we do, and I appreciate all you guys like that. There's a bunch of y'all out there, man. Appreciate you guys staying with the channel, following it over the years. We are starting to get things kind of under control for the fall sports period and all that stuff. It's kind of winding down. The football's winding down. We'll have just a tiny little break between that and basketball, so we are going to try to start getting more content coming out. There has been chaos in the professional fishing world lately, so I'm going to do my best to get you guys a podcast episode out here in the next week. Hopefully we can do that Sunday night like we used to. But we got some things we need to just break down and discuss that are going on in the bass fishing world in general that are freaking crazy, man. And I know everybody's doing podcast episodes about them and all that, but by God, I want to do one too, because I love this sport and it's fun to talk about because it's crazy. It's chaos going on. So stay tuned for that. We will be at the tournament Sunday during the day. I'll be at the tournament covering the weigh-in and interviewing, hopefully getting to interview some of the anglers and the folks that run this tournament from Bass Champs, who I can't say enough good things about Bass Champs and the way they run their tournaments. Chad Potts and the crew over there, man, oh my gosh, they do such a good job. So that'll be coming up next week, coverage from Berkeley, as well as we're going to try to get back on the water, footage with you guys, get some days on the water and film. We'll try to fit that in the schedule somewhere as well and do the best we can to keep helping you guys catch more and bigger fish. We'll see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.